Hey guys, Stay Patient here. Now, earlier on today, I did a recording of my unboxing of the PlayStation VR, and unfortunately, my garbage Logitech webcam didn't record the audio through the microphone, even though I had it set up correctly. So, unfortunately, all my commentary for it is missing, but what I thought I'd do is still share it with you and just sort of try and let you know what it is we're looking at as we open it, and hopefully provide some form of commentary to replace that was lost. Now, straight away, I kind of marked the box there, because that's what happens when you use a knife. Silly me. But we've got this on the top here. We've got a return sheet, a sticker if we do need to return it. And I've noticed that there is also something you'll notice in a minute. You'll see as I unbox it all. There's another sheet of paper with a website for support. So they're obviously really going strong on this VR. You know, they really want people that have bought it to be happy with it, to not end up sending it back, to be able to solve any issues they've got with it. Now it's quite a nice clean box, as you can see. It does look very similar to some of the other boxes for some of the other pieces of like accessories and things like that, other bits of equipment and gear that go along with the PS4, which kind of, I don't know if it makes it look a bit cheap in a way, because it's very similar to the box for the headset, the official Sony headset. I just want to apologize as well if you can hear some banging in the background. That's some work being done here that I can't really stop. But yeah, it's a nice box, but like I say, it kind of, all the PlayStation stuff is all got a very recognizable style when it comes to the boxes. And at this point I was trying to cut into this a little bit, well, in the wrong direction, so I was almost ripping the box. And it took me a while to figure out that with boxes like this, they always have them folded and sort of connected together in ways that sometimes make it difficult to figure out how you're supposed to get in. I was being a bit dumb because I was trying to open it up in the completely wrong place here. I realized that it's actually the top piece that needs to come up. So you can see me there trying to open it without breaking anything. I've kind of torn the box a little bit, and then I realized that obviously it's this little top section once I've remembered to cut the other bits of sellotape off. Pardon me. So we're going to open this up now. And I'm sorry, it's very bright. I've only just noticed that because I'm kind of watching it back, re-commentating it as I mentioned. And there's kind of an inside box. If you open this up, you'll notice there's a piece of kind of elastic at the back there, because I was trying to stretch it and I realized that just back here, you can see that piece of sort of fabric that's holding the top of the box in, which is quite cool because it sort of keeps the whole thing together, which is quite nice. So I was trying to take out the blue box, but I realized it's all kind of connected. So let's get rid of this very shiny, I didn't set up the lighting perfectly, but let's get rid of that exterior box there. And as you can see, although this looks like a blue box inside a white box, it's actually all the same unit as far as I can tell. So you do have to kind of take it out from the top here. So I think on top we've got this sort of manual, and you'll notice that the diagrams are very, well, a lot of them are quite small on the sheet of paper, and they've obviously chosen this large size for this manual just to fit in with the box, so it all kind of uniformly fits in there. As you can see, it's exactly the same size as that little embedded section in the top. But a bit of a waste of paper really, not much information there, but lots of paper used. So we've got these little individual boxes holding all the wires and stuff in. So this is the power lead, of course, or part of the power lead. Nothing too exciting there. I'm not going to be, wiring it all up during this video. I just wanted to show you guys, what it looks like when you take it out, and just have a bit of a chat about the feel of it and the way it's all, I guess, set up. So we've got another box here. Now this here, we've got some wires, but we've also got this sort of connector box. Let's take the wires out first. This here is, I believe, oh crumbs, I'm forgetting now. I've got it right in front of me somewhere. But there's quite a few wires. Some of them go, if we take this box out, there is a HDMI connector on the back, or two HDMI connectors. One goes to the TV and one goes to the PS4. And then on the front, you'll notice in a moment, yeah, on the back there we've also got the USB, I think. So we've got the two HDMIs, got the USB, you've got the power connector as well. And eventually I will turn it around here. And if you push this section back, you'll notice two connectors there. They're the two connectors that go, that the wires from the actual PS VR headset go into. So that's part of the power lead there. And the actual main wire, oh, the packet I took out a moment ago, that was just an HDMI cable, I'm remembering now. And we've also got this set of earbuds. So one thing I was wondering about when I was, I'd never really looked into it, but I was wondering if the VR headset had headphones built in. I didn't think they did from what I'd seen. And I was wondering if they would allow you, they'd give you enough space to be able to wear proper headphones. And I believe I go and grab, yes, I grabbed my official PlayStation headset here, which many of you will probably have, the gold wireless surround sound one. And I'm going to sort of try and figure out whether that's wearable while you're wearing the VR headset, because I really don't want to be using earbuds, crappy earbuds to listen to my games when I'm immersed in a VR world, You want to have decent sound. So yeah, I'm guessing you could probably just use your normal sound if you've got surround sound speakers, but you want to have a headset on. If you've got stuff covering your eyes and everything, you want to really be wearing a headset, so hopefully it'll all fit on your head at the same time. Now you also get this demo disc, and I had a look on the back there, and I was reading out. In fact, let me grab this demo disc because I do want to read out what demos are available to you guys when you buy this. So we have Rigs, PlayStation VR Worlds, Drive Club VR, Tumble VR, Battlezone, Eve Valkyrie, Headmaster, and Wayward Sky. So that's the demo disc. And one surprise inclusion, to me at least, was Drive Club VR, which is pretty cool because if someone comes round and you say to them, I've got the new virtual reality headset, they're going to want to see something tangible, not just some kind of mini game or indie game. You're going to be able to at least show them Drive Club. They're going to be able to try out a racing game, especially because I've got a racing seat and a steering wheel and everything. So that will be pretty cool, even though it's not the full game. Just something to see how VR works with a racing title. Now that in my hand right now is the screen cleaner, so hopefully that works well. The only problem with things like that is that you need to store them somewhere, and they just end up getting dusty, and then you end up sort of cleaning your screen with something that's dirtier than the screen itself. But I'll try and find somewhere nice and clean to keep it. Here's the sheet that offers help. It tells you the website to go to if you've got any technical issues. Now here we've got quite a bit of wiring, and there is actually a very useful video on IGN which you can watch, and that video shows how to set everything up, because I'm going to sort of have a look and actually figure out what these wires are right now. They're very tightly packed in, they're very tightly sort of wrapped up and sellotaped round and all things like that, so it took me a moment to get into them. But basically the way it's set up is that you've got that box that we looked at a moment ago, and you have an HDMI cable going from your PS4 into the box, and then from the box into the TV, so the signal does actually get into the TV. And then you have this connector here going into the front of the box, where you've got the right hand side sort of protracts back, it kind of retreats back if you push it, and it gives you access to two connectors. Now these two wires that I'm unwrapping at the moment, they're the wires that go into those two connectors. And then at the other end you'll notice that box which has got two more holes in, two more connectors, and the wires that come out the back of the actual VR unit go into this box. So I was sort of, at this point, I was trying to figure out which leads go into that box there, but it wasn't until I actually took the VR unit out and saw that there were wires coming out of it that it reminded me. But it does sound, you know, a little bit complicated, but you've got just there, look, you've got the connector and these two wires go into there. And then you've got, you know, it's like a double wire that goes from the box into your headset, because I'm guessing they didn't want to put a connector on the headset itself, because that would mean plugging it in and unplugging it over and over again. And also, I'm guessing the main reason would be so that it doesn't pull out. You know, if you're moving around a lot, you don't want the wire that's, you know, connected to the headset itself to be pulling out if you're, you know, if you're making sweeping movements around the room, depending on what game you're playing. Oh, motorbike going by. Yeah, so it's certainly one of those things you might want to have a look at a setup video for, because I believe they mentioned about not turning certain things on until a certain point, stuff like that, just to protect all of the units and everything. Now this piece is quite a complicated folded piece of cardboard, so if you do ever want to pack it up again, or you want to sell it on, it's going to be a little bit confusing getting that back in exactly how it was to begin with, but hopefully it's not the kind of thing you're going to end up wanting to sell at any point. And here is the actual unit itself. So here's the wire I've just discovered. So you've got the two connectors there, very similar to the two on the long lead, and they'll go into the box connector that's at one end of the lead, and then the other end goes into the main box, of course. And on it you've got this little section here, which has an on and off button, and it's got volume up and down and a mute button. Now obviously I don't think there's any headset included, but this connector here, this is basically a headphone connector, so you can connect your headset or earphones or whatever. So if you've got a microphone on your headset, then that, you know, that button there on the wire, that will allow you to mute your mic or anything like that. I'm guessing it will work even if your microphone or your headset itself doesn't have a mute button. You can still mute it, which is pretty cool. So here's the actual unit, guys. I'm not going to be trying it on during this video because, you know, I just want to unbox it. I'm not really in a very good position whilst I was recording this to be able to get in front of the camera myself. But this section sort of pulls away. The bit at the back there, I've seen a video of it and it sort of pulls away, and I was trying to figure out how to do it at this time. I was trying to sort of move things around without yanking them too much. I don't want to go breaking it literally on the first day. But there's a button here which I'll discover in a moment. You've got these flaps which are pretty cool, like rubber flaps, which I'm guessing stops the light coming up from underneath. So it stops, you know, it allows you to be fully immersed. You can't sort of see anything around the rim of the actual goggles. But here's the button here. If you hold this button in, it sort of stretches the actual eyepiece out, which makes it easier to get on without kind of having to squeeze in and knock things around. And yeah, I think that's a pretty cool touch. You're not just having to stretch it over your head. You kind of pull that out. And then you've got a similar button on here, which you'll see. I try and angle it towards the camera a little better. But if you hold this white button, it's a very similar one. You can stretch the whole thing out, but it always retracts back in. It doesn't ever stay out. I'm guessing that's to stop anything breaking or whatever, but you just hold that back, and if someone's got a bigger head than you, they can sort of stretch it over their head, then let go, and it kind of tightens itself around you. And one thing I didn't look at during the video was the wheel. Near my left hand there, you've got a wheel that you can turn, which will tighten the headset, so it holds it nice and snug on your head and stops it from being too loose or stops any light from getting into your vision. And you've got this kind of microphone or speaker here, which I'm not fully aware of what that is yet until I look at the manual. But it could be a microphone. It could be that if you've got a headset that doesn't have a mic on, and it's literally only earphones, like the earbuds that they gave you in the actual box, then maybe that gives you the option to be able to speak through a microphone, and you can kind of mute it or whatever using the button on the wire. But there it is, guys. It's quite nice and sturdy. It feels good. It's nice and heavy. Obviously, it's an expensive item. You want it to be well built and everything. So I'm looking forward to getting into it, trying it out. I'm not going to be putting it on and testing it out just yet, but I'm usually a trophy-based channel, so I will be looking at the games. I will be looking at the games for VR and finding some nice easy platinums, and then doing some guides for them, because using these HDMI inputs that I'm just looking at, I think you should be able to connect my Elgato device up to it so I can record what I'm seeing, because I think it shows through the TV as well, so other people can watch what you're doing. But that's going to be very interesting, trying to get some content up, trying to get it all wired up, and hopefully get the webcam going so you can see me flailing about like an idiot. Yeah, there you go, guys. That's the PlayStation VR. I can't actually remember what I was rambling on about at this point. Don't forget to, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in VR. I'm going to be probably doing a bit of a review of it once I've sort of formed an impression, and I'll also be doing some content for the games as well. So I hope you've enjoyed having this little sneak peek at the VR unit, in a real world setting. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.